I'm the old. Yeah, I need one with the help.
You're the other.
I'm the oldest one, so I need one with the help.
All right, folks. So, as you may have noticed, there are 6 of you this evening, which I think is the most that we've ever had on a forum. So we're very excited to have you all with us this evening.
Tens of time.
Because there are 6 of you, we're going to do things a little bit differently for time constraints. So you're going to have a minute to introduce yourself, and then a minute to answer each question. Now, I'm not going to have the same person go first every time. I have different people go first. So if you're the 6th one going and you feel like everyone's already said everything that needs to be said, you can say, yeah, I agree with that. Don't feel like you're going to get drowned out and that you're not going to have a chance to talk because you'll be allowed to go first another time. Okay, so don't feel like you have to use the minute or you're not going to get a chance to talk. I'll make sure that everyone has a chance to go first and be the one who gets to speak first. Okay, any questions from you folks? I just want to remind you, because I've been doing these forums for a while, remember, I am asking the questions, but they are watching the forum. So don't look at me when you answer your questions. Look at them. All right? All right, last chance. Anyone have questions to give me before we get started? All right, well then I'm going to introduce our candidates. We have Karen Perez, who is a caucus member, and she is running for School Board District 6. We have Scott Hottenstein, who is also a caucus member and running for District 6. Actually, everyone is running for District 6 except Bill Person. Bill Person is also a caucus member. So, Bill, what region is District 1?
It would be the northwest area, north of Columbus, south of Bush, west of the Hillsborough River.
So if you live in that area, Bill Person is running to be your school board member. If you live anywhere else in Hillsborough County, the other 5 are running to be your school board member because District 6 is a county-wide district, okay? All right, so then we have Robert Pahacek, who is also a caucus member. We have Shake Washington, and we have Mitchell Smithley. Sorry?
Smithy.
Oh, sorry about that. All right, so I'll start down here, and you'll each have 1 minute to introduce yourself and your campaign. So just have to go. Yeah, please stand.
And apparently we're having microphone issues. Apparently, so project, please.
Hi, my name is Karen Perez.
Can't hear you.
Hi, my name is Karen Perez, and I'm running for District 6 School Board. I've been a member of the Hillsborough County for the last 22 years. I've raised my children here in Hillsborough County, and they've attended Hillsborough County school system, and now they're adults. And I work for the Tampa VA. I also have a private practice where I see children in my private practice, and I also work for the juvenile justice system, where I work with juveniles who are in school, but also who are going through the juvenile justice system. I look forward to being on the school board to address issues that are facing our youth today, especially in the mental health issues that are facing not only Hillsborough County, but throughout the nation. Thank you.
I should start talking and get some free time. Hey, I'm Scott Hottenstein. I'm running for District 6 School Board. I'm running to restore faith in the school board, to renew a focus on students in the classroom, and to fix the broken programs that we have in the school district. A little bit about myself. I am a current middle school teacher. I teach 7th grade civics at Barrington Middle School. I'm married to my wife, who is a current school counselor at Rogers Middle School. I have 2 teenage sons. They go to Hillsborough County Public Schools. So I see what's going on in the school district, and I know what needs to be fixed. Before I became a teacher, I was in the Navy for 24 years. Graduated from the Naval Academy, spent 20 years, had positions of command. My last job was second in command of our base in Sicily. And during that time, I did the Don't Ask, Don't Tell repeal.
Thank you, Solicitor. Hello, my name is Robert
Oh,
Patrick, and I'm currently a teacher in Hillsborough County. When I was born with a disability called dyspraxia, where I didn't learn how to speak till I was almost 7 years old. I had to go through years of physical therapy. And throughout my life, I decided that those teachers were the ones who helped me, so then therefore I want to be that same teacher to help the students. I've worked with students with disabilities, students in and out of juvenile justice system. I've also taught EBD. I've worked with ASD units, autism units. And I am a teacher who's started in high school, middle school, and I've worked all across the county. So I'm running for school board, so then that way we can bring back job and vocational training to our students. Because in my opinion, not every kid needs to be going to college. We do need to look out for the plethora of students who are not going to college and make sure those kids are taken care of as well. As a teacher, I believe in inclusion in the classroom, and I also believe in treating every single student fairly and treating people with dignity and humility. So anyway, my name is Robert Patrick, and thank you very much.
My name is Bill Person. With me this evening is my lovely wife, Lori Rodriguez, a teacher at Irwin Technical College. I started in Hillsborough County as a teacher in 1976. I retired 7 years ago as General Director of Administration for the school district. I was a high school and middle school principal. 2 years ago, I ran for this race and lost by 1%. 267 votes out of 23,000 votes cast. Resigned against a conservative, young, wealthy Republican who's all about money leaving the school system. As Democrats, I need your support. I'm a member of this caucus, and we need to stop. The Republicans are attempting to take all 4 seats on the school board. We are not going to allow it. I need your help. You need to help me. You need to help these candidates up here stop this wave coming from the red side. Thank you.
Ready? Okay, I got to go. Hi, I'm Henry Shade Washington. I'm running for District 6 countywide. I did 42 years in the school district. I came from an area. I came from assistant teacher all the way up to an area superintendent. I did 22 years in the military. I love the school system. I am a member. I am a true campaigner. I went to high school here for 12 years. I was in the school system for 42. I did 54 years in the school district. So I love the school district, and I wanted to succeed. We're here because we want to do what's right for the school district, and I'm a true Democrat. No other way. I'm a true Democrat. And the things that I want to happen is to be successful in this school system so everybody, it doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are. What matters the most is all students have a right to be successful.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Mitchell Smithy. I am running for Hillsborough County School Board District 6, but you already knew that. I'm the current student nutrition manager at Steinbrenner High School. I am married to was kindergarten, now pre-K teacher. And I have 2 students in the district, one going into high school and one going into middle school. Okay, I've been with the district over 12 years now. Okay, I've had many different positions: elementary schools, middle schools, high schools. Okay, I've been in classrooms. Okay, I'm here with my OKs again. I've been in the front office. I'm uniquely positioned to see how things are run, to hear everybody's opinions on what is needed in the district. Okay, what we need now is somebody that is going to listen. It's going to start worrying about the students in the classroom, the teachers in the classroom. We need to stop having a top down and go from a bottom up. And go.
All right, thank you so much, and thank you everyone for bearing with us while we have some technical difficulties, but it seems like things are working now. So, the first question that I always ask in our forums is, as you all know, you are here tonight at the Hillsborough County LGBTA Democratic Caucus. So as members of the LGBT community and allies, we would like to know, what connection do you have to the LGBT community, and why is it important to you to specifically have the endorsement of this caucus? So I'm going to start with Scott, go all the way down, and then end with Karen.
So my connection to this community really started in the military. My first ship, brand new ensign, I come back to work on a Monday, 2 of our top sailors are gone from the ship, disappeared. Our ship personnelman, the office manager, and one of the best enginemen that we had in the engineering department where I worked. Why? They're caught at a house party being intimate with each other. And under the policies, they were gone. What I learned from that was that that was a stupid policy. Thankfully, at the end of my career, when I was second in command of the base, I did the training that for the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. The commanding officer, the command master chief, the 2 other senior people, they were like, I don't know what we're going to say. I was like, this is easy. It restores integrity to people, no issues about identity, and the people get it. It's older people like me who don't get it. Thank you. I'm out of time.
So for me, it goes back to high school. I grew up in Maryland, where it's a very liberal area, and we had a lot of students transition. And then when I joined the military, it was a shock that my best friend had to leave the military because he was caught in Pennsylvania. And to me, there's something personal about that when you see one of your friends having to leave the military for Don't Ask, Don't Tell. By the way, Steve and I became roommates later, and him and I are great friends to this day. But I decided to take my lessons learned from childhood and adulthood to me as a teacher, and I posted Gay Straight Alliance academies at my previous school. And my next door neighbor, Mr. Bright, who also teaches with me, currently hosts our Gay Straight Alliance, where they did the Walk for Orange and the Parkland Shooting Memorial. And to me, it means a lot if I receive your endorsement, because it's the empowerment of teachers, it's the empowerment of the care and love we have to have our students. Because at the same time, we see our students transitioning, and we have to be there to support them. Thank you very much.
One of the reasons I was endorsed by the Classroom Teachers Association last week is my 35 years as an employee with the school district, as a teacher all the way to a district administrator, is I look at education through the focus of the student and the employee. And we have a responsibility to make sure we have the most conducive, healthy environment in the schools to hopefully help these students be able to cope and deal with issues publicly. I don't know what's going on. And I have a big mouth.
If you need, it'll be here.
Mouth. And I was in the military also, so as a sergeant, I can project. I see the issue through the eyes of children and employees and teachers in the schools and all students, regardless of who they are, regardless if they have a disability, regardless of their gender, regardless of their sexual orientation. They need protection. They need to be encouraged in a safe environment. So.
Okay, I don't need the microphone because I used to be a high school basketball coach as well as football. First of all, in 2005, when I first became an area director, I was the chairman of the committee to put LGBT clubs in schools, and we voted on the committee to have those clubs in school because every student should have a right to their gender, no matter what it is. You have a right for that, and we voted. We had some oppositions, but on my committee, I had 14 people on my committee, and we voted to have clubs and organizations in schools with the LGBT. And so forth, they've been successful. So my philosophy has always been, it doesn't matter where you live, or what you are, or what you do, every person has a right in the school system to be successful. I'll be quiet too, then.
Most of my life I've lived working in hotels and restaurants, okay? And in doing so, you work with all types of people. Okay? You learn a lot about alternate lifestyles, and you learn a lot about somebody when you're working in the muck in the kitchen with them. Okay? And quite honestly, I don't think I ever thought of them any different than I was. Okay? In regards to with the school district, we do have policies in place that are, non-discriminatory. Okay. However, I feel that we could probably do a little bit better from the standpoint of having our counselors better educated. Because even though I've noticed that students are more acceptable than they were when I was in school, we still have those students that don't feel that they can actually approach and deal with. Time's up again. A minute's just, oh.
Yeah.
So I'm one of the Ryan White providers. So I work with the LGBT community here in Pinellas County, and I've been doing that for 7 years. I also sit at the VA at the LGBT Out and Proud, and I've been sitting on that committee for the last 5 years. And also on June 2nd, my daughter and her wife got married in New York, and they were featured on Bang Magazine, and they were also on the Pride and New York Pride. They were representing Maybelline, because Maybelline also were one of the sponsors in their wedding. And so I am a mom of now my daughter and her wife. So I am very much in the LGBT community.
All right, so as Mitchell mentioned, there are some non-discrimination policies on the books in Hillsborough County, but there is no specific mention of protections for LGBT students. And that is not right, correct?
No.
No, okay. Can you help, because I'm having trouble understanding what it is specifically.
The Hillsborough County School District Office of Diversity does not specifically mention the LGBTQ community.
Okay.
There are no resources for LGBT students or educators.
Okay, so thank you. It's a little bit complicated, but that is the issue that we have. And it's not for lack of trying. It is my understanding there have been efforts in the school board in the past to do more for the LGBT community, but there are certain activists in the Hillsborough County area who often come to the school board meetings, protest those items on the agenda, and then those items are removed from the agenda. So it is well and fine, and we understand that you're all Democrats, you're all going to sit here and say, I'm not taking money from the NRA and I support the LGBT community. We get that. But we want to know, as people who are going to watch whoever is elected to the school board, that the person that we are sending is not just cool with the LGBT community and okay about not discriminating, but is also going to go there and be a fighter for us and stand up for us specifically when people come and try to attack children in our community. So we want to know, what is the stance that you will take on the school board if there are community activists coming to the meetings and protesting rights and resources for the LGBT community? And Robert, guess what? You get to start.
So for me, when I look back on my life and I meet my maker, I want to be able to say that I did what I was supposed to do as a human being. And as a human being, everybody needs to have the right and dignity and love that we give to anybody else in our community. So if protesters do come up and protest, I will ignore it. I will move on with what's right in our agenda. And to me, it's a common sense thing that needs to occur. You know, LGBTQA communities need to have the exact same rights as afforded to all of our students. I don't know why this is a discussion. I don't know why it's still an argument. This is 2018. Let's act like it. Thank you.
As school board members, we're not going to allow community members as a group to come and argue with us about denying civil rights to any group of students. And that's what's happened. You have some board, and you know, if you know me, you know I've been critical of some of the board members, but I can tell you, you have at least one board member that stood up for this issue and got beat back because they came in mass. We need to have board members that have the courage to stand with other board members and face these people and continue to progress. That's why we're progressives. We need to move forward. When you talk about denying people their civil rights, denying their rights under the Constitution, there's no room for compromise. And as you notice, the longer this goes, the less they squeak, the less they scream. We have to take a position and stand firm and do what is right for children and for employees.
As a high school principal for 9 years, I was the principal of 2 different high schools, and I always was encountered this. And what I did was protecting all students, no matter what. You know, they come and say this guy is weird or whatever, but we have to protect every student because every student has a right. No matter who or what you are, you have a right. And as a high school principal, I protect it. And as a school board member, I'm going to protect it because I believe in what's right for people. I'm not concerned what's not right. I'm concerned what's right for people. I think all people have a right to their belief, and you can't condemn a person for that. And it's very important to defend every student, no matter who they are or what they are. You got to defend students, and you got to stand up for your right. And you can't fall to politics, because I'm not a politician. I can tell you, I'm not a politician. I'm a rookie on the job, but I'm not a politician. So I believe standing upright for every student. Got it, what, in 2 seconds? That's pretty good.
As I mentioned before, I really feel that we do need to have a little bit more resources for the teachers. We need to have more resources in the district. And this is for 2 reasons, both for those that are in the LGBT community and those that aren't, okay? One of the biggest obstacles to progress is ignorance. And as school board, we have to listen to everybody, okay? We have to listen to all sides, but it'll be our right and our responsibility to protect the individual. Right now, we're talking about the individual students, or the individual teachers, individual employees. Okay? And you can't do that if you're sitting there listening to hate groups. Okay? So,
My daughter came out to me when she was 13. So at 13, and as her mom, I wanted to protect my daughter, but I knew she needed to go to school. So just like I made sure that my daughter had a support system in school, I'm going to make sure that all those other children also have that same support system, but on the school board. That's where it starts first. It's that support system. Building that support system for those children and making sure, because now I have a grandson that loves to wear skirts, a grandson that loves to wear pink. So I know where my grandson is going to be when he's 18, and when he's 13, and when he's 10. So I need to be that voice for the same children that look like my grandson, that strong voice that I was for my daughter that made her who she is today.
Thank you.
So as a 7th grade civics teacher, here's the lens I see this. Article 9 of the Florida Constitution says that all children residing in the state of Florida get a uniform, efficient, safe, secure, high-quality, free public school. As a classroom teacher, I always tell my students, I need you in the classroom. But here's the thing. I see kids who are physically in my classroom who are not there, and they're not learning. Why? Because they're worried about what's going to happen in the bathroom during passing time. They're going to worry about what goes on in the PE fields or in the locker rooms. They don't feel safe. So on the school board, I'm going to come out for universal bathrooms. Use the bathroom of your choice. And it's not about beating back protesters. It's about using your job as school board, as a bully pulpit, to be an advocate for public education like the Florida Constitution says, for everyone. I was at my editorial board. They said, hey, charter schools, what happens? What happens to a safe bus? I'm like, I'm going to be a vocal advocate for that. That's what I would do.
Awesome. Thank you. So the first question, I said at the beginning of the forum that this is the Hillsborough County LGBTA Democratic Caucus. I asked you guys about the LGBTA part. Now I want to ask you about the Democrat part. How long have you been a Democrat, and why is it important to you to identify as a Democrat? Are we starting with you now, Karen, or I think so?
I've been a Democrat as long as I've been voting. And it's important to me to identify as a Democrat because I feel that providing services to people who need services and not asking them to go, pull yourself up from the bootstraps and just go figure out what you're going to do. But helping somebody, provide those services, help them along the way until they get on their feet. And then making sure that, along the way they're on their feet and they're okay. I'm a social worker. So social worker reeks of Democrats. That's the field that I chose, is to help people, that's what I've dedicated my life to, is to help people.
So I've been a Democrat. I'd have to check my card. Probably 4 months now. You're like, 4 months? Well, here's what happened. Registered to vote at 18, 30 years ago. Republican, 1988. Going along, one party left me, and I'm left standing in the middle, or apparently to the left. When I helped my friend run for the Democratic primary for U.S. Senate last summer, we'd be going around to these kind of forums, and I'd be like, I'm a little more liberal than the Democrats. Maybe I'm a Democrat. And then what happened was, at the very first forum that we all got together, Tiger Bay, Tampa Tiger Bay, I went to the forum, I gave my answers. Wasn't thinking about Republican, Democrat. People came up, said, hey, you should come to the Progressive Caucus. They came and talked to me. They're all Democrats. So for school board, my values align with the Democrats. I changed my party registration after 29 years.
So I grew up in Maryland to blue-collar workers. My stepfather replaced telephone lines, and he was a unionist for Bell Atlantic. And I remember as a kid watching them strike, and to me it was in awe. You saw these people walking around the building, picketing, and I'm against picketing, but I don't know how to show it. So, maybe next year. I'm sorry, bad joke. But anyway, and it was in awe because someone would walk up saying, I'm going in, and they would stop him, and they would yell at him, and he would, turn around and walk away. I'm like, wow. Of course, it was acted out, but it was empowering. So when I went 18, I joined the military. I decided to rebel against my parents and go Republican. But then quickly I switched to Democrat. I've been a Democrat since 2006. But to me, I'm not just a Democrat, I'm a progressive. I believe in equality for all. I believe in equity. I believe that we need to be doing more and more to push our students forward. And to me, I grew up Democrat. We've always been Northern Democrats, and that's the way I like to be associated with. So thank you.
3 months ago, 3.5 months ago, I switched from the Republican Party to the Democratic Party. If I were a true conservative Republican, I would not be standing here talking to you right now, and you know that. My wife and I are married 19 years next Wednesday. She's a Latin from Hillsborough County. She's a Democrat. Her entire family are Democrats, and they always shook their head, and she always said to me, why are you a Republican? In your heart, you're a Democrat. And as the individual who led efforts for the school district on desegregation and reported to the federal courts, I saw the damage done by segregation and the lack of progress made. My heart has gone out. The party left me. I didn't leave the party, and you've heard that before. In my case, it's true. I will say to you, there are some members of our party are critical of me because I left the Republicans and came to the Democratic Party. I was recruited by you to come into this party, and it was the best decision I've made in a long time. Thank you.
I'm 69 years old, and I've been a Democrat for about 58, 59 years. Of course, when I'm running for office, because in the school district, I'm bipartisan because I'm for every student. Every student counts. So, but I am a true Democrat, and I've been a Democrat all my life because I believe in the democracy way of society. I believe in equity for every person, no matter who you are, what color you are, or what you do in life. So my Democratic career started many, many moons ago with my parents. Thank you.
Honestly, I can't tell you exactly when my voter registration turned over to Democrat. I believe when I started, 18 years old, headstrong, I believe I went in as a Republican, went to school, and got involved with the whole campaign stuff back then. And as things happen, your life evolves, your views evolve. And somewhere along the lines, I went to, I didn't like what either party was saying, and I was independent. And I would dare say about the time I started having my family, and I had more than just myself to look at, I started to realize that, side over here actually appeals to me a little bit more for what I need in my life and what I want for my family and for my kids. So that's why I'm a Democrat. I won't, badmouth the Republican. I won't badmouth, anybody that's not. But for me, that's why I'm a Democrat.
Okay, one more question. Yeah, it's 8:42. So.
All right. So,
Yep.
This question comes from one of our caucus members, and they would like to know, what is your position on the separation of church and state and the role of religion in public schools? So we're going to be starting with Scott.
Okay, I'll save some time. There's a separation of church and state. Religion has no role in the school. I'm a devout Catholic. There's no place for it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I agree that there needs to be a clear line of separation, but I've also hosted gay straight alliance groups and fellowship for Christian athletes as well. So for me, as long as it's student hosted and they're willing to have a teacher supervise it, I'm not against it. But once again, we got to make sure we include everybody. So if you're going to pray at the flagpole, thank you. If you're going to pray at the flagpole, you better include everybody else. If you're going to have your meetings and your association groups, you better include everybody else. At my classroom door, I have a little circle and I have a triangle, which means my classroom door is an open space. And when people want to come in and people need that stress relief, and people want to just have that place to sit and relax, that is my classroom. So if we're going to have these programs at school, they better be open to everybody, and everybody better be able to have a chance to have their own group as well. Thank you very much.
No one should ever have to apologize for the religious beliefs or lack of religious beliefs. I'm totally for the separation of church and state. It's a founding principle of this country. But as educators, children from all walks of life, and they need to be protected. I am very concerned about extremes to the left or extremes to the right. And extreme religious fundamentalism in this world has been quite damaging, going all the way back to the Spanish Inquisition, to the insurgency in Iraq. So when you go too far with anything, too far, too extreme, people get hurt, people die, it's unhealthy. The purpose of the school district is instruction, and we need to protect our children and nurture them, and the same for our employees. I truly, truly honor and respect separation of church and state. It's just too bad the people in Tallahassee don't.
And I feel the same way. As a high school principal, I had religious groups to come in, and then I had to stop them, because what happened when the religious group come in, they recruit students. And they end up having try to have clubs and organizations, so they end up recruiting students. We can't have that. You can't recruit students for religious purposes. So you have to separate the two. Now, I don't have a problem with student-led prayers in school. I never did, because we had prayers around the flagpole. Remember that deal many years ago? We used to pray around the flagpole, but the student led the prayer, not the instructors. I don't have a problem with that. But we have to watch out when groups come in, because they are trying to recruit our students, and we can't have that.
I think everybody's pretty much covered it. There's a reason for the separation, and it needs to remain so.
Yeah.
The purpose of a school district is to educate everybody, okay? Religion is as varied as the number of people in this room. And so I have the right to have my own religion, just like you have the right to have or not to have. And if we allow it to be taught in school, it becomes an extreme mess. So it needs to be separate. If the students want to have a club after school, all for that. But if they want to learn a particular religion, there's other ways to do it.
Thank you. Y'all did a fine job explaining it. But I am very much with a separation of church and school, especially when it becomes, it overtakes the education. The education is first, and that's what we need to focus on when children are there. And church, they could, have that if they decide to do a club or anything student-led, but church should be also something educated by their parents or outside the school. But yes, I definitely am for separation.